As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am. A past.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for being a little bit late. Grandpa's still not home. He was supposed to be home today. A lot going on with that. Waiting for him to get home. Feeling a little bit better day by day. Getting this crud out of my chest and being able to breathe a little bit easier makes it easier to live. Hi, DK. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Karen. Hi, Nana. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Gord. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Richard. Hi, Billy. How you doing? Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Keith. Hi, other Debbie. Hi, Karen. Hi, Minnie. Hi, Josie. Maria. Sherry. Sabrina. William. Richard. Brian. How you guys all doing tonight? Man, I was planning on going live yesterday, and I just didn't get it through. Yeah, I've had COVID, Billy, for the second time. It's brutal. COVID is brutal. I can tell you that for sure. It is not fun. Hi, Tia. Oh, it's not fun. Of course, fake news coming out of Ukraine. Ukraine supposedly reclaiming more territory, supposedly. But yet, I have reports that directly contradict this report that came out of Ukraine today from the Associated Press, stating the Associated Press states they reclaimed more territory and reports captured many POWs, according to AP. I have a total different scenario that I've heard. Russians suffered very little losses while moving forward today and actually just wiping soldiers. Yes, Billy, I'm taking calls. If you guys haven't heard this, I mean, I think it's big news. There's a lot going on what's happening in Ukraine, between Ukraine and China moving on Taiwan as well. Definitely taking calls, though. But this is crazy. Just craziness going on. The number of Russian soldiers supposedly lost or captured. And the numbers. Hi, Billy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Chris. I'm happy to see that you're feeling better, man. Sorry that you were sick.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you're back, man. A couple things. Number one, Biden's speech yesterday on 9/11 was the most disgraceful, disgusting speech ever given by a president so far on a 9/11 anniversary. It was filled with anger, hate, and where was the love, the hope, and the empathy, Chris, for the victims and their families? I mean, it was. If people listening right now didn't see that speech, try to look it up on YouTube. And
Well, actually, after I heard that speech, I wrote a speech of what he should have said yesterday, and I'm going to read it after I get off the phone with you. But I think it was ridiculous and hard to even listen to his hatred and division that he's been pushing across this country.
But I mean, you agree, right? I mean, it was such an awful speech for a 9/11 anniversary by a sitting president.
It was ridiculous. It was beyond.
So I'm watching Tucker, outstanding tonight. He did like almost a 30-minute monologue, and what he was talking about was this whole narrative that they're pushing now, the Biden administration, and what they're trying to get people to believe about the threat of domestic terrorism and the enemy within, and how MAGA and supporters and Trump supporters are the enemy now. It's no longer the international terrorism. That we are the enemy, and we're the ones who should be taken down, so to speak.
I think they're setting up for a civil war to break out after elections, because I think the elections are going to swing Republican on both the House and the Senate. And then impeachments will come on. We already know impeachments on Biden and Harris are coming because the paperwork's already been drawn up by the GOP. So
yeah. So
if they put Trump as the Speaker of the House, you know what that means. He then becomes the sitting president for the next 2 years, 2.5 years.
Well, I mean, can the Speaker of the House be appointed even if you're not in Congress already?
Yes, actually, the Speaker of the House is one of the few positions that aren't elected positions. They can be either a member of the House or it could be anybody they appoint as the Speaker of the House.
Okay. See, I didn't
as
know
long
that.
as they get voted in by the majority.
Yeah, I thought you had to be a member of Congress first in order to be voted on by the majority party to be Speaker. I didn't know that you can actually be a civilian and be brought in.
Nope, that's one of those catch-22s. The only thing is, because it is third in line with the presidency, is you have to be a United States citizen.
Yeah. So now Tucker had this guy, a great journalist, who's been talking about this whole abuse of the Patriot Act since it was formed after 9/11. How, when it first came out, it had good intentions, to use against, but as we all know, that it has a lot of abuses in its history, and a lot of it is against American citizens. So this guy, I forgot his name. I think Glenwood or something like that. He's a journalist. He's always on Tucker. Well, anyway, he was on tonight, and he told Tucker that Schiff had I think it was right before January 6th, or so, I forgot what day he was talking about, but Schiff had drawn up a bill, and he was going to present it to be voted on, and the bill was going to be for the Patriot Act to be taken away towards international terrorism, to focus on domestic terrorism and the enemy within. Did you hear anything about that at all?
Yeah, there's actually 2 bills that are coming up, and they're trying to get them passed with this budget crisis covering everything that's happening. There's 2 bills right now that they're trying to get passed that allow them to actually more power to basically monitor U.S. citizens without their knowledge, without court's approval.
Really, it's not about domestic terrorism, Chris. We all know that it's going to be politicized and weaponized as a political tool for the Democrats. We all know that.
It's already happening.
Yeah. And one last thing, you were just talking about Ukraine. I just saw Douglas McGregor, his Facebook page, and he wrote something really good. I just want to read it real fast if you give me a second.
Yeah.
I got you on speaker, Chris. Hold on one second. I photoshopped it. And this is he posted this a couple hours ago on his Facebook page. Everybody can look it up. Douglas McGregor, he's retired colonel. Here it is. Russia counterstrike will occur. Oh, wait. That's the second page. Here it is. The first update on the last 96 hours in Ukraine. Number 1, Russians inflicted huge casualties on the Ukrainians that advanced to Lysium. Russians took very, very few casualties. Ukrainians advanced through empty space. They did not force the Russians out. They simply moved in after the Russians withdrew. Ukrainian forces are now out of the cities and forests and must fight in the open. This is the fight the Russians prefer. And here's the second part of it. Russian counterstrike will occur soon. The stage is set. Meanwhile, the Ukrainians are attacking Grozny, Lysium, but the Russians were present in strength, and the Ukrainians, in a single day of combat, lost about 300 killed and over 1,000 wounded. So
that's what I was saying. People don't realize what's happening. Because AP, like the Associated Press and everything they're putting out, makes everything in Ukraine looked like Ukraine did a great job in the last 72 hours because of the lightning advance.
Yeah. So everything that I just said that came from Douglas McGregor's Facebook page, that's basically, you knew about this, right? I mean, that's all accurate,
Yeah.
you would say?
That is all accurate. That's what I'm hearing from actual people that we have soldiers. I don't know if you guys know this. There's soldiers on the ground there. They aren't U.S. soldiers because they got given a bonus to take leave of absence to volunteer. It's all bullshit, but there are soldiers there.
You know, the Ukrainians, they state, you know, they show the soldier on his high platform. I don't know what it was, a tower or crane, and he's putting up the Ukrainian flag. That's, I mean, come on, it's all propaganda.
Yep.
You know, it's all to make it look like the Ukrainians came in and they pushed the Russians back in a great battle, and they reclaimed 2,000 acres of land. It's all a lie.
Yeah, but Russia did exactly what Russia wanted them to do. Russia set a stage where they knew there was no civilians, drew back and caused a vacuum, and what happened? Ukraine moved in. Now, Russia's on both sides of that vacuum and on the backside. They're going to close that wall behind them and watch what happens next couple days. I mean, we've already seen huge numbers of Ukrainian soldiers lost within the last 24 hours, and those numbers keep climbing.
Hey, real fast, final point. O'Reilly tonight, I saw his little segment on No Spin News on his Facebook. Brought up a great point. You know, this week, I think it was Sunday, Chuck Todd interviewed Kamala Harris, and he says, is the border secure? He said that, you know, there's 2 million people across the border. How can you say it's secure? And she goes on to say, the border is very secure. And then she went to say, well, you know, we're trying to fix it because of the problems in the last 4 years, meaning like, you know, Trump's 4 years created this mess. And he just sits there and doesn't say anything. Doesn't push back on the lies. It's like they're like, they help push their lies.
And that's the sad part, is we're seeing the lies being pushed more and more by these news organizations, and they're not helping anybody. I mean, who is it helping by pushing a lie, a false narrative that you know is fake, you know has no truth to it whatsoever? Who's it going to benefit? Is it going to benefit the people that need to know?
Yeah, it's just so disgusting. Anyway, man, I'll let you go. I'm glad you're back. Hope you feel better. And look forward to your shows.
Yeah. God bless, man. Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye. Yep.
It's getting crazy out there. And it's going to get crazier. We're watching this happen. Chernobyl? Well, that's going to be a little thing compared to that. Yeah, 15,000 nurses on strike for 3 days. Yeah, the one in Minnesota. Yep. It's more than just one hospital now, James. It was one earlier. Now it's multiples. They're not going to tell the truth. The mainstream media is not going to tell the truth. Believe it or not, there's a carbon dioxide shortage for compressed CO2. I mean, it's a natural process that's given off by a lot of things, and we're producing CO2 to make carbonated beverages and everything else when we know we can extract it from air. We're already having food shortages. We're already having that kind of issue growing as we speak. Biden doesn't give a shit what happens to our country. He's more worried about how he looks like. Beer shortage coming soon. Yep. I could see it happening. And that's the scary part, James. Beer will be the next thing on the chopping block out of your grocery cart. Yeah. So many people go about their day every day not knowing what's happening. And it is scary. It is scary the number of people that don't know. I mean, the D.C. mayor, of course, is declaring the state of emergency over the migrants being bused there when they have less than a couple thousand total that have been received in D.C., when Texas has millions flooding their border. Bowser should be freaking that. It's becoming ridiculous. So they're going to use federal money to house the migrants and to get them everything they need in D.C. But Texas isn't allowed to do that. Yeah, major rail strikes coming because they can't get paid enough. Now they like $10 for 15 cans at General Dollar. Dollar General. Yep. Oh, it's just sad. It is sad. I mean, and even the stock market. And here's the big thing: is we thought stocks were down to what they should be. We're talking another big move will be at least a 20% drop before we see any more recovery in the market. A 20% drop in the market. And you cannot, at this point, the dollar value obviously isn't worth anything. It's not being traded as it's worth anything. It's just sad. That's coming forward. I don't know if you guys seen Blue Origin's rocket malfunction today. It was quite dramatic when it blew up in pieces. Luckily, it was an unpiloted Shepard capsule. You know, the Shepard capsule, though, is the one that Blue Origin plans to use for commercial space flight to sell to sell seats on. So if you bought a seat for that coming up soon, be ready. I don't know when the financial crash is going to be. This is the hard thing right now, you guys. We're looking at Europe. We're looking at the U.S. We're looking at production. We're looking at meat rates, beef recalls, chicken recalls, the amount of things that are fluctuating within the government, China's movement into more of an aggressive stance on Taiwan, actually flying drones directly overhead of the mainland itself, Taiwan. Now, every one of those aspects all play into a part. OPEC is going to keep closing the tap. They're not playing. Yes, there are power outages across the nation right now. There's issues in some places and issues that aren't in others. It's been happening for the last week. Call them rolling browns. I don't want to say blackouts. But power issues are, of course, an issue right now. We're reading about all this stuff that's happening. And the problem is mainstream media is afraid to talk about it. They want to listen to Biden's speech that is more divisive than anything we've heard before the Civil War happened. And we knew it was coming, the Civil War. It really scares me about what could happen next. Yeah, stock markets are going up this week, but it's supposed to be only going up temporarily. Oh my goodness. Brownouts, blackouts. No, it's just loss of power outage. Yeah, the media is not, let's say this right. The media is not necessarily concerned with the Queen's death. The media knows that people will watch that they will tune in and watch it unadulterated for the next 7 to 10 days. They can guarantee that everybody's just going to be paying attention to what's happening, where the Queen is, what happened. I mean, we're seeing increases in prices. We know Europe's going to fail. And here's the question: if Europe does fall, or if, as a multinational stature, and the International Monetary Fund happens to be in Europe, then what happens to our money? What happens if the International Monetary Fund falls and goes into a crisis situation? October surprise, we got a lot of them coming. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I have to get off and try to figure out what's going on. Trying to get my grandfather home by tonight, but he's still not here. Craziness. Oh, I do want to read you the speech that I would have said yesterday. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, you guys. But it's been I'm gonna read you the speech that I wrote for yesterday that I didn't get a chance to read, just so you guys can hear it and see what you guys think. It's been 21 years since 9/11. We've still not forgotten. Today we remember those who lost their lives on that faithful day and the heroes who helped save others. On September 19th, September 11th, 2001, a group of 19 hijackers brought down the World Trade Centers in New York City, and the Pentagon in D.C. In the wake of the attacks, we remember the heroes of that day, those who died, traumatized by the experience, yet still went on to work each day. Those who risked everything to save others, and those who helped us get through it all. In the aftermath of this attack, it was a time of reflection for our country and for its people. We could not have asked for a better response from the American people than what we saw that day. From the earliest moments after the tragedy, America came together as one to help their fellow citizens in need. As we look back on that day, it's important to remember that we all share a similar history and culture that has shaped us into who we are today, as well as a new sense of patriotism that has brought us together as a nation. The world has changed since we really last saw each other, but we have not. We are still the same people who love music, learning, community. We are still the same people who believe in our country and its potential. We are still the same people who would do anything for our family and our friends because the alternative is too hard to imagine. That is why we need to come together again, because what happens next is up to us. If there's one thing we need to know from all of this, is from watching so many good people suffer and die, it's that when we come together for a common cause, we can accomplish anything. When it comes to our country, we are in it together. Whether you are a citizen or a visitor, we need you. Our country is facing some hard times. It's up to us to come together and fight for what we believe in, to fight for what is right. God bless America. Now, see, that is not a hard speech. And I wrote that after I heard Biden's speech because it just filled me with freaking anger. And I wanted something that was inspirational. Moving forward. To give people a reason to go forward and fight for what's right. And to fight what the country needs. And the problem is, Biden didn't deliver that. It took me 10 minutes to write this. Literally 10 minutes. And it really hurts to know that the President of the United States cannot deliver a speech that unites America once again. We have too much division. Way too much division. We need to stand together as one. One people, one nation, under God, indivisible, the light of liberty and justice for all. It's not hard. It's the standing up. And where's that standing come from? It doesn't come from the guy next to you. We don't wait for the guy in front of you or behind you to stand up. You have to stand up now as a citizen and be heard. You have to stand up. Not later, not yesterday, not the day before. Time to get up. But God bless you guys. Thank you for being with us. Have a wonderful night. We really do appreciate you guys. We are grateful that you were here with us. Take the time to tune in. We will see you, of course, Wednesday night. God bless. If anything goes wrong, I will, of course, put an announcement on the page. But I will post that speech separately. Reading of that, so you guys can have it out there and to share. But God bless you guys. Good night.
As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. I was born into freedom in a wonderful land of mountains and plains, rivers and lakes. Forever American is what I am. A past as rich as any can be. My father's worked hard to give this to me. I love this place I come from. To live another way I cannot foresee. As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. As an American, I've been to the peaks of majestic mountains where the air is sweet. I've watched the eagle as it soars in beautiful skies that just can't be ignored. And by this country I'll always stand, for freedom and liberty for every man. When times are hard and things get rough, America always stands ready and rough. As an American, I eat apple pie, play baseball under its blue skies. As an American, I travel this land and follow her roads wherever I can. From sea to shining sea, I've seen a lot, and none of it will be forgot. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. And when my country called, I gave my all as an American. Forever American is what I am.